Welcome to Season 2 of the Generational Dental Wealth Show. Season 2 is all about increasing dental financial IQ. We do record these live in studio at Team Studios, so if you want to see the video format of this show, go ahead to Spotify or YouTube. Also, if you want to join the Generational Dental Wealth community, go ahead to teamfinancials.com/educate. Let's hop into it. Hey man, so we're back for another part with Jibri here today at the Generational Dental Wealth Show. My name is Kingsley Fetty, CPA.
Dr. Jermaine Fetty, and we have
Jibri Muhammad.
Awesome. Hey, this part 2 is going to be amazing. A continuation from our conversation beforehand. Pretty much talking about the biggest financial considerations that you need to be thinking about as a D4 dental student.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, Jibri, let's hop straight into it, man. Like, do you feel ready? It's coming around the corner.
So that's a good question. And honestly, I think I'm never going to feel 100% ready. But I think a good goal for me is just put in as much work and time on the front end so I'll feel as ready as I can be. Because I know I'm not going to be mentally prepared for everything, but I'm ready to start that transition and start that growth. So, yeah.
That's real. That's real. What are you doing in these last few months to get ready for now full-blown practice?
So these last few months, honestly, just learning as much as possible. Things like tuning in to the Generational Dental Wealth podcast.
Okay. Shout out.
Just looking at YouTube videos about taxes and talking to a lot of docs. Talking to Dr. Fetty here about, what his process was like, coming out of dental school, what that looked like, shadowing as much as I can, and just collecting as much information as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest things is, clinically, we've had multiple conversations about, man, like, you got about 5 more months to be in all those specialty clinics.
Yeah.
Get as much game as you possibly can, man. One question I always get from a lot of new grads is like CE, right? And it's just like, technically you're paying for CE every single day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So be in there, get as much as you can, and I think you're going to be ready, man. I think you're going to be ready.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So when we hop into it, just a quick question, and when we talked before, I think this is a solid question. Especially being in the search to figure out what's kind of next for you. I guess it's a question for Dr. Fetty. What do you think new grads should be looking for, or in what platforms, what places should they be looking for their associateship?
Honestly, I think number one, you should be searching in all the places that most people are not searching. Right?
Okay.
I'm very big on the people you see the most are the ones who are not necessarily out for your best interest. And I don't want to say it in in a bad way or a misaligned way, but more of the people who you probably need to be with are probably too busy to come find you, unfortunately. And that's just how mentorship tends to go sometimes.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to be looking in, number one, asking other people who are in positions that you necessarily want to be in, right?
Yeah.
I want you to be asking different people who are working in spaces that you want to work in, right? Like if you want to be in a private practice working with a owner doc, right? Then you need to talk to other people who are in similar relationships like that currently. If you want to be working on a travel dentistry tip, right? You need to be talking to people who are interested in those. If you want to be working in more of a denture heavy practice, or if you want to be working more in a corporate heavy practice, or more of a kid friendly practice, whatever it is like that, again, the advice isn't to tell you what to do. The advice is to be able to give you information for you to pick and see which parts apply to you the most. But the worst thing you can do is just to stick to one or two, right? Like explore as many as you can, just like when you was in dental school, right? You explored every different specialty to figure out, do I like this, do I not like this? A lot of people come in saying, I want to do this, and by the time they come out, they end up doing something completely different. So just when it comes to opportunities, man, I'll be looking online, I'll be looking on Facebook, I'll be looking on Indeed, I'll be talking to different people at conferences, I'll be asking different peers that just graduated. There's a wealth of information to people who just graduated because either they've done the job or they're currently doing the job, and they either like it or they hate it. But let me ask you, Jibri, where are you looking, man? How's your search going?
So my search right now, I think a big thing, like Dr. Fetty said, I've been kind of talking to people who are in positions I want to be in, him being one of those people, and just asking them about opportunities I should be looking for. Also, Indeed, and places like Glassdoor, which right now it's a little hard just because graduation is so far out for me. A lot of places are looking for associates right now, but it's important to kind of at least see what the landscape is looking like. Also looking at some DSOs, and everybody's path is different, so what may be for you may not be for everybody, but at least exploring some of the DSOs, seeing what they offer, seeing if they align with what I'm looking for, and honestly, just trying to see if there are any private practices that I might want to be an associate at. But since this is my first time going through this process, it's a big learning experience for me too.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to soak up as much as I can, and
Yeah, it makes sense.
For sure. Like I always said, again, just get as much information as you can. Just go through as many options as you can. Talk to as many people as possible. Again, the ones who show up at your school, I say definitely go through down that option as well, because interviewing is a skill. So even if you're interviewing once or twice, it's going to help you get better and sharper. So by the time you get to your third or fourth interview, you might really be ready. Just like the dental school interview process, man. So I would say definitely look at all the different options, but don't just look at the options that are closest to you. Right? Take a few steps outside of your comfort zone to find the opportunity that might just be waiting for you around the corner.
No, exactly.
So one of the biggest things is, now that you're going to be getting contracts in hands, let me ask you this, based off you and your peers, where have you seen as a resource for people to be able to take their contracts, to be able to get a little bit more information? What have you seen personally?
So personally, a lot of us don't really know what we're doing, but so some of my classmates will kind of, go to recent grads who graduated and kind of see what their advice is, go to mentors who may have been practicing for years, but also at UNC specifically, there's a attorney. He's offered to read over at least one contract for everyone in our class, so that's a good resource that I plan on using. And then, some faculty at the school too, like Dr. Jack King at UNC, he's really big, and he really helps out a lot with that. So, those are just some of the avenues people get.
For sure,
Awesome,
man. My personal 1, 2, 3 step go-to is, number one, get somebody who is 5 years out or less. That's going to be somebody who is closest to the situation, who is probably switched jobs definitely switched jobs in the last 5 years. So they know what contracts are looking like. They have probably a good understanding. Obviously, somebody probably who has more of a business orientation to it, because they probably can see the contract through the lens, understand the contract is a business component, right? So you want to make sure you're getting somebody who is looking at their contracts, has an understanding of their contract. The second person you want to be 5 years or above. That person has probably seen different contracts, seen how things have evolved over time, right? There is a lot of wisdom in somebody who has been there, done that. And last but not least, I try to find somebody with as much gray hair as possible. Like somebody probably 20 years out, somebody who has either been in ownership or have been in some type of position where they probably handed out a contract to somebody else. And in that way, I can get a diversity of opinions to figure out, is this fair? Is this not fair? I mean, when it comes to contract negotiations, you only know what's fair based off of what other people have done, right? Other things you can compare. So once you get through those 3 people, obviously, the last one is not really in the 3, because those 3 are all dentists. The last one, fourth but not least, not the least at all, is you definitely get a lawyer. Real. We are dentists by trade. We are not lawyers. So definitely get a professional set of eyes on that, man. Kings, what you think?
No, I think exactly. I think, part of contracts, and I'm not a lawyer obviously as well, there's different components. Obviously you have the financial component. Obviously you have the limitations, what you can and can't do. You might have the, agreement side. So, I definitely think lawyer being able to get you in and out of situations. Maybe that, you don't want your non-compete to be this stringent. You want to negotiate, hey, I want to be able to practice within this certain range, and because what you kind of have coming down the road. So kind of having somebody to kind of point those type of things out and say, is it even fair? Like, is what you're asking fair, and is it likely for them to do? Not to get too much off topic, but when I see whenever I work with different lawyers, like going through the transition side, dental practice transitions, people are buying and selling dental practices, there's always room for negotiation, because they might, a buyer might go down, or the seller might go down on the purchase price of the dental practice, but then the buyer might have to go ahead and negotiate like how they're going to allocate certain assets. Like I said, I know it's going down a certain way, but just in every negotiation, every contract, there's always room for kind of a give take. right? If you let me, if you loosen up these limitations, I might take, something else as a hit. So, I think always your lawyer. If you have a financial professional as well, because as you know, every contract out there, every agreement out there probably has some type of financial consequence or reward to it. So, yeah, I think you're on the right track.
For sure. I mean, one thing I always want to everybody, if you could depart with, especially when it comes to contracts, is that the goal of your contract is not necessarily to like make out like a bandit, right? The goal of your contract is to have a fair agreement between both sides that shows an appreciation for the skill set you're gonna bring to their practice, right? So again, the goal is to feel like, man, I really got over them. Yeah. Most people think that. No, seriously, because think about it. When in school have we ever learned the purpose behind contract negotiations? Most people think contract negotiations are a personal gratifying experience. I need to get as much as I possibly can. Yeah. The goal of a contract negotiation and what I've learned as a traveling dentist, and it really changed my perspective on what situations I decided to be a part of and what ones I didn't want to be a part of, is that you have to understand that there's a fine balance between what they need and what you need. And the closer that balance is to 50-50, the longer the relationship is going to last. Just like any relationship in your life. If it's a one side and it's just like, you know what, you get paid and the other side is not even profitable, those doors will close. But in the same way, if you're running up production, you're helping patients, you're doing all the things you can to build a practice, but you on your side, you got to close your doors. You can't handle what you need to handle. I mean, that's not a safe environment for anybody to flourish. Yep. So just when it comes to contract negotiations, I definitely want everybody to try to find where is that middle ground, that 50-50, where everybody can be happy. So now that we're speaking about contracts and what's important to you, now that you're starting to look at different opportunities, we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire here. I'm going to throw some different topics out here. You tell me how important this is to you personally and what goes through your mind when you're considering these different topics. So number one, if we're talking about where you want to live, how is that factoring into your process?
Where I want to live, I would say it's not extremely important just because, I don't have an entire family right now. So it's important. I want to be in the Charlotte area, but not super, super picky about like where specifically.
Okay. So you open?
Yeah, definitely open. Open and flexible.
All right. Now, next, let's say mentorship.
Mentorship is very big on my list. As a new grad, trying to learn as much as I can and get my skills and reps and speed up.
So one thing I definitely want to just make any young dentist cognizant of is that a lot of people will promise partnership. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if employers got a memo and said, if you want to attract young, good associates, say the word mentorship, and that's going to bring them in. And if that fails, mention partnership. I don't know what it is, but those two catchphrasey things is what a lot of people say sometimes, but it's not really followed up on and not really fulfilled. And those two are probably, especially mentorship, more than anything else, is one of the biggest components to a young dentist's career. I still remember one of my personal mentors who took me clinically to a whole nother level, Dr. Tatiana Novez, shout out to her. She made it a very safe space for me to learn clinically. So when you're going through your experiences, I hope you can find somewhere that with her, I could bring difficult cases to her. I could sit down with her and let her know like this tooth is sitting sideways. I'm not sure about it. But when she gives you the kind of peace of mind that, you know what, go ahead and give it your best shot. Let's go ahead and talk about some safe ways to do this before you go in. And when you go in, if you have any issues at all, stop, come grab me. We could sit down, look at the computer together and say, okay, I don't know where to go next. She's like, okay, pull here, and boom, tooth will come out. Or if we're talking about hitting the 60th minute, she'd be like, okay, I'm coming here and do it with you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing. So I'm hoping you can find somewhere like that where you can find some mentorship. But I just want everybody to be out there. Be very weary when it comes to the word mentorship. Personally, I would want to know who have they mentored before me, right? Who was in this spot before me? Yeah. A lot of practices have a revolving door when it comes to associateships. So I'm trying to figure out who was before me, and if there was no one before me, what's your plan for me? So mentorship, I'm glad that's on the top of your mind, especially during that D1 year, man. I love that. I love that. Next topic, compensation.
Compensation. So I would say compensation is not at the top of my list, but it's also not at the bottom. I want to make sure I'm fairly compensated, but also as a new grad, you know, I am still learning things. So I would say for me, it's maybe around the middle. So make sure I'm not getting cheated, but also as a new grad, I can't be expecting to be making the big bucks. Yeah, and I know the money will come as time goes on. So it's not the top for me specifically.
Okay.
Gosh, I got one. I heard you say I heard you say earlier that you know you were looking at some different topics online, just trying to get your knowledge up on what you're about to undertake. How do you feel about the concept and the word financial literacy? Right, pouring into yourself on a financial line.
Financial literacy, I feel like is so important, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's really just a lifetime journey of just constantly trying to learn little by little. Because that's the thing for me. A lot of topics, I was like, I really just don't understand that, and I'm gonna just leave that there, right? But as you watch a little video here, a little video there, your knowledge base starts to kind of gradually increase, and then you subconsciously make decisions based on that knowledge base. So, and I feel like especially as dentists going into a very high paying profession, I'm trying to get my habits right now good. So when I do start making that money, I'm not just blowing it. Cause that's the thing. If you have poor spending habits when you're not making money, those habits are just gonna translate to when you start making money, and you could still be living paycheck to paycheck as a dentist. So that financial literacy, I feel like is key, like so key, and that's why I be tuned into y'all podcast. Like I keep coming back to that.
Yeah, my one of my older brothers, Jen, he always talks about how money does not solve money issues. I see that all the time as a CPA. You'd be surprised the clients that come in, you know, with $300,000, $400,000 are the ones that are scrambling come tax time, right? Because it's more responsibilities. You know, typically they might have, you know, the business, you know, a lot more responsibility, staff to make sure that they're good, and they have to still take care of the family. So a lot of times things are slipping under the rug. So I think you hit it right on the head. You know, you're going from, I always make the joke, eating ramen noodles to now, you know, at the point where you can do a lot, right, that the average human being can't do. And so you're jumping in tax brackets, and you have, and we joked earlier, right, you might have certain people in your life that come back, hey, yo, you know, I have this business idea. I have this. You hear that all the time with athletes, but it's true, right? And if you don't have that discipline, if you don't have that, you know, somebody that's been there that sees this all the time might end up falling victims to some of these things. You know what I mean? So
I'm glad you got that on the top of your mind, because number one thing I want to just make you aware of, not necessarily warn, but make you aware of, is that when you do go from student to dentist, in a lot of circles you are a target. You are a financial target for people to sell products, for people to push their agenda on you on a financial tip. So it's important for you to start coming up with your game plan, creating your board of advisors. So by the time you're ready, you already know what to do. And somebody to bounce your financial ideas off. So it's just like, does this make sense to do X? Does it make sense to do Y? You need somebody to help you, guide you through those situations. So I'm hoping definitely start. You got 5 months. Start thinking about who's going to fill that role for you. And just when it comes to finances, when you say those words that money doesn't solve money problems, I think people don't really realize that. Like I have a lot of peers, again, who graduated before me, and you could just tell when it's not right financially, you know. So I'm hoping, you know, to find that safe space. I've always said that when you first graduate, you got a 3-month period where you're going to determine your financial habits for the rest of your career. You got those first 3 months where you go from making nothing to making 5 figures monthly on a very easy way. What are you going to do with those first couple paychecks? Are those first couple paychecks going to be a way for you to vent and be able to show that you made it? Or is it going to be a seed in which you can now sow into your peace of mind and be able to create, as we like to call, a safety fund, because we don't believe in emergencies, a safety fund to make sure you're prepared for whatever goes on. So let me ask you this, man. Now that you're starting to put together the final steps and what's coming next for you, what's going through your mind? Any last things you want to leave with everybody here about the next steps for your journey?
So the next steps, I would say one of the biggest things is don't just leave things up to chance, right? You at least have to try to plan certain things out. So you can just say, oh, well, I'm going to just live wherever, like at least put in the work or the time on the front end. So I'm thinking about acquiring property because that's a very important thing to me. And start building equity, not just paying someone else's mortgage. So, I'm exploring that option. I'm talking to people who are in that space. Also looking at, just as far as where I want to work, talking to a lot of people. So things just aren't left up to chance. If you think, oh, it's just going to fall out of the sky, that's the wrong mentality to have. You have to prepare, because if you don't prepare, you'll just fall into somebody else's plan, so.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Any final questions you have for the two of us, man? What can we do for you, man? Any final thoughts you got for us?
Final thoughts, just make sure y'all keep y'all phones ringer on, because I'm going to be hitting y'all real soon.
For sure. Yeah. Appreciate y'all for joining us on the Generational Dental Wealth Show. We look forward to hearing y'all from y'all next time. If y'all need to reach Jibri, y'all see him here, man. It's going to be a great time. We're going to put his information in the show notes. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
See ya.